I've been to over 50 different parks, from traveling fairs to the world's biggest tourist destinations to roller coaster paradises. It's hard to choose what the best parks are since they're all so different and have completely different objectives. This list will be largely based on the roller coasters with just a little emphasis on anything else like park atmosphere and theming, because ultimately the coasters are what I'm all about. As much as I'm impressed with Universal and Disney parks for what they are, they're not on this list. Alright, enough disclaimers. All that being said, here is the list of my top 10 favorite parks. I would like to first give honorable mentions to number 15 through 11. So Six Flags Over Texas, Six Flags New England, Dollywood, King's Dominion, and Hershey Park. You're all very good parks, but not quite top 10 worthy. Number 10. Six Flags Fiesta Texas in San Antonio, Texas. This is rightly considered the best themed and most beautiful Six Flags park. It sits in a quarry, and many of the rides interact with the quarry wall, which makes for an experience that you can't get anywhere else. They don't have a ton of coasters, but they have an absolutely rock-solid top 3. They're currently the only park that can boast 2 coasters from Rocky Mountain Construction, and they're both excellent coasters, Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster and Iron Rattler. The other great coaster is Superman Krypton Coaster, a top-tier B&M floorless that really put this park on the map when I became an enthusiast back in 2000. They also have a unique and thrilling mine train, one of Arrow's last coasters, Roadrunner Express, as well as the Premier Rides launch Spaghetti Bowl Coaster Poltergeist, the original SNS free spin Batman the Ride, and a Boomerang, also a Batman clone, and a Pandemonium. With 9 thrill coasters, it's a solid lineup with strong headliners. I did have a bad experience there due to the wind in April 2019, and even a slight wind can shut the rides down because of the quarry setting, so that's a downside, but otherwise it's a fantastic park with a fantastic setting. Number 9. Carowinds in Charlotte, North Carolina. Cedar Fair is like a parent that seems to favor some of its kids over its others, and it looks like Carowinds is in their top 3 favorites. One legitimate criticism of this park is that it's extremely top-heavy, and has a lot of average or poor coasters filling out the lineup once you get past the elite few. But that looks to be quickly changing. Carowinds is of course known for the 3-time reigning champ for world's best steel coaster, the B&M Giga Fury 325. Their other 2 B&Ms are also great, Intimidator and Afterburn, and their shiny new toy is the new for 2019 Mach Rides multi-launch coaster, Copperhead Strike. After that, it gets a little tough between Flying Cobras, Hurler, Nighthawk, Vortex. You're not talking about good complementary coasters, and that's why this barely cracks the top 10. But with a top 4 as good as what they have, including one of the world's most elite coasters at the top, Carowinds finds itself at the number 9 spot for me. Number 8. Busch Gardens Tampa in Tampa, Florida. This park is absolutely enormous and it does everything so well. Every ride has a good setting and halfway decent theming, and is packed with good solid quality coasters. This is one of the most fun parks to debate because there's no clear number 1, not until 2020 at least. It has 3 very good B&Ms in Montu, Kumba, and Shikra, a unique Intamin Blitz and Cheetah Hunt, one of the best family coasters in the world in the spinning Cobra's Curse, and other good complementary coasters with the Schwarzkopf Scorpion and the Skyrocket 2 Tigress. And don't forget one of the greatest flat rides of all time, Falcon's Fury. This park has an African theme and also features animals all over the park, giraffes, zebras, elephants, flamingos. It really adds to the atmosphere of the park and gives people something else to do here other than the rides. This park is so huge that you're best off taking the Sky Ride from the front to the back, and it saves you time and also gives you great views of the coasters and the animals. This park is at number 8 for now, but after RMC Gwazi opens in 2020, it could vault much higher. Number 7. Busch Gardens Williamsburg in Williamsburg, Virginia. This is the sister park to Busch Gardens Tampa, and this park is even better. Each section is themed to a European country, and each ride has such great theming. Just like Busch Gardens Tampa, they have 3 standout B&Ms with Apollo's Chariot, Alpengeist, and Griffin, as well as some good thrilling loopers with the Aero Classic Loch Ness Monster and the Skyrocket 2 Tempesto, plus some awesome family coasters with the GCI Invader and the Zero multi-launch for Bolton. And in 2020, they'll also get a great new coaster, a 76-mile-per-hour Intamin launch coaster in the Italian section of the park, and it'll add another extreme coaster to their collection. This park is consistently voted the most beautiful park in the world, and they really put a lot of effort into it, and it pays off. Between the great rides and the great packaging, this is a solid top 10 park for me. Number 6. Six Flags Great America in Gurnee, Illinois. This is such an underrated park, and it deserves more accolades. I've had such a great time here every time I've visited. This underrated park features a couple underrated coasters, Raging Bull and Viper. Most people think that the best ride in the park is the RMC Woody Goliath, and it's certainly up there for me. This park also has some very good complimentary coasters like X-Flight, Vertical Velocity, Superman Ultimate Flight, Batman the Ride, American Eagle, and in 2019 they'll open the coaster with the fastest acceleration outside of Japan, Max Force. This park has been crowded every time I've been here, but it makes sense since it's such a great park for coasters and it serves the Chicago and Milwaukee areas. Number 5. Six Flags Magic Mountain in Valencia, California. This is my home park and I'm here all the time, so I know this place inside and out, all its strengths and its flaws. It has so many coasters it's almost impossible to ride them all in one day unless the park is dead or you have a flash pass. So at the top you have some of the elite coasters with Twisted Colossus and X2, with Tatsu arguably breaking through into that group. There's also so many good supporting coasters like Full Throttle, Riddler's Revenge, Viper, Apocalypse, Superman Escape from Krypton, Batman the Ride, Scream, Goliath, and in 2019 we're getting West Coast Racers, which should be another very solid supporting coaster. This park has always been about coasters, but in the last couple years we've gotten something in the way of flats, starting with using the Superman Tower to build Lex Luthor, the 400-foot drop tower, and in back-to-back years they got Justice League and Crisanity, which offer some really solid dark and flat rides the park really needed. I think people coming to this park for the first time are going to be overwhelmed by the number of coasters here and trying to get to all of them, and as a local, it gives me a nice variety to choose from every time I visit, although generally I'm going straight to Twisted Colossus. Number 4. Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey. This is my current number 1 Six Flags park, and it's very close with Magic Mountain. This park has a lot of annoying policies regarding cameras and needing lockers for their best rides, but if you can get past that, this park has a lot. Most notably, one of the best coasters ever built, El Toro. If it wasn't for El Toro, this is probably a middle-of-the-pack Six Flags park. It's that good to elevate it all the way to number 1. King Dakar is still the world's tallest coaster and is still a huge rush. Nitro is the type of hyper that I wish Goliath at Magic Mountain was, and offers some great airtime. The supporting cast is good but not great, with Bizarro, Superman Ultimate Flight, Batman the Ride, Green Lantern, and Joker. They also have some good coasters for the kids, including Skull Mountain, Dark Knight, Harley Quinn, and the Runaway Mine Train. It's a good mix of coasters, but this park is in need of another elite thrill coaster, and I think they'll be getting that in 2020. But as long as El Toro is still standing, this park is top 5. Number 3. Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri. This may be the big surprise of this list, but I had an amazing time here in the 2 shortened days last summer. Every coaster is tucked away in its own area, and you can walk around the park and not see a single coaster anywhere. Time Traveler and Outlaw Run are an amazing top 2. Wildfire and Powder Keg are terrific supporting coasters, and Thunderation is the best mine train I've ever been on. Even though this has 5 strong coasters, it's the type of park that I would be happy with as a home park because I could just ride those 5 every time. The theming, the ops, and the atmosphere just add to the experience, and even though Dollywood is nice, I felt like this park did everything Dollywood does, but so much better. Maybe if my next experience isn't as good, I wouldn't rank it as high, but I love this park way more than I thought I would. Number 2. Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. Here's another incredibly underrated park. I've been here 3 times, the first time all the way back in the Paramount days in 2002, and the last couple trips in the last 3 years. Cedar Fair has done so much good to this park, and like Carowinds, it seems like they want to make this one of their preferred pet projects. They have 3 awesome coasters at the top of their lineup, Diamondback, Mystic Timbers, and Banshee. They also have the legendary Beast, and a good supporting cast like The Bat, Racer, Vortex, Invertigo, Backlot Stunt Coaster, Adventure Express, and through the end of 2018 they had Firehawk. In 2020, there's already land clearing for what could be a monster B&M, possibly that Giga that's been rumored for years. More than just a deep lineup of coasters, this park always seems like it's run so well. The operations are elite, and it's always running 2 or 3 trains even on a slower day. And it's obvious they take a lot of pride in their park, which isn't something I say about a lot of parks. This is the only park on this list that has a realistic shot at possibly overtaking my number 1 park in the upcoming years, depending on what they add. Number 1. Cedar Point and Sandusky, Ohio. This is the only park I've been to that evokes that feeling that you've made it. I call it the happiest place on earth, at least for me. Every visit has given me that sense that I'm in heaven, and the 13 hours that the park's open are not enough to get everything done. One knock on this park prior to 2018 is that it did not have that true ultra elite coaster. Enter Steel Vengeance, the best coaster ever built. No other park in the world has a collection of really good coasters quite like Cedar Point. Maverick, Millennium Force, Magnum, Raptor, Gatekeeper, Valraven, Gemini, Top Thrill Dragster, Blue Streak, Wicked Twister. The list is ridiculous. Throw in great operations, obvious park pride, the lakeside setting on 3 sides of the park. No other place compares to it, and it's an obvious pick for number 1. So let me know what you think of my list, and feel free to comment below what you would rank as your top parks, and I will see you guys all next time.